Most of us appreciate having people around us who support us and encourage us. But if everyone around us always agree with us, are we actually growing, and are we actually helping them to grow? Tonight, we're asking the question, who has permission to challenge us? I'm going to throw that out to you. Who has permission to challenge you? This is the 30. Let's get started. Well, hello there, gang. Welcome to the 30. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the 30. This is a production of the Jackman Group, LLC. Thank you for being here. The 30 certainly is a space for meaningful conversation designed to support your personal, professional, and leadership growth. If you are watching this, wherever you are watching this from, whether you're watching it live or you will be watching it in replay, thank you so much for joining us. If you're watching it on YouTube, make sure that you like and repost this episode. We would appreciate if you're watching this from YouTube. Certainly like this episode and subscribe to our channel, which is YouTube at the 30 with Patrick. Thank you so much for being here. Tonight, we are continuing our conversation with the series, More Than a Network. Last week, we started with the question, you have contacts now, but do you have the community? That was our question for last week, our first episode of this series. You have contacts, but do you have community? And we explored and we talked about a number of things. We talked about the difference between knowing a lot of people and having people you're actually growing with. Because you can have hundreds of contacts, you can have a strong professional network, and plenty of people who know you, know your name, know what you do, but still not have people that you can call when there's a difficult or when there's a decision to be made, or when you need another perspective, or when you need someone who will be honest with you. That was last week's conversation. If you missed it, go back to the episode. You can catch it again on our YouTube channel. All of our episodes are there. Tonight, I want to take that same conversation one step further. Because real community is not only about having people who encourage you, celebrate you, and support you. Although all those things are wonderful, all those things are great, and all those things matter. We all need encouragement. We all need support. We all need people who can celebrate our progress, celebrate our successes. But real community also includes people who care enough to challenge us, who care enough to tell us and give us a different perspective. So tonight's question is, who has permission to challenge you? Have you given the individual or individuals permission to challenge you? So let's start first by looking at the word permission. And what does that mean, right? So I looked it up for you so that you don't have to do it. Permission is the act of allowing someone to do something or formal consent given by an authority to perform a particular action. So you don't have to look it up. I just give it to you. And you can say simply just thank you. With that definition in mind, here's what I want to do. It's important for us to note that, number one, not everyone should have permission to speak into our lives. Not everyone should have permission to speak into your life or your lives. Number two, not every opinion deserves your attention. People have opinions, and sometimes it's their opinion. It's only an opinion. But not every opinion deserves to have your individual attention. Third, not every criticism deserves a response. Not every constructive feedback deserves a response. And lastly, not everyone who challenges us is necessarily trying to help us. Those are four things that I want you to keep in mind. But here's the thing. Every one of us need a few trusted individuals who can ask difficult questions, who can challenge our thinking, who can challenge what we're doing. We all need a few people who can help us to recognize something we may not be able to see ourselves. So my question to you is this: who is that person or those persons for you? Do you have one or more than one of those individuals that can challenge you? And have you shown them that it is safe to be honest with you? Because it's one thing to have one person or a group of people that can challenge us. But there's another thing for us to give them permission to do so. Or are you running solo, thinking that you know it all, thinking that you have it all together, so you don't need anyone to challenge you? So one thing to say, I want people to tell me the truth. It is something else to create the kind of relationship or the kind of atmosphere where individuals actually believe that they can tell you the absolute truth, that they can be honest with you without you having an attitude. See, support is one thing, but it does not always mean agreement. Folks, sometimes we assume that people who support us should also agree with everything that we do. We think that they should agree with every decision that we make. We think that they should agree with every idea that we have, that they should agree with every timing that we have, that they should agree with our approach, with every approach that we may come forth with. And when they do not agree, we begin to question their loyalty. We begin to question their support. We begin to question them as individuals. Are they real friends? Are they friends or are they associates? Do they mean me good or they mean me bad? Are they loyal to me? So we begin to question their support. We start thinking things like this. Maybe they are not for me. Maybe they do not understand my vision. They do not understand my plan. They do not understand my objectives. Maybe they don't understand me. Maybe they're being too negative. Maybe they're being too envious. Maybe they don't want to see me succeed. So we start to ask ourselves all these questions because the few people that we trust, because they may say no, they may not totally agree with us, we start to ask ourselves these questions. Although some of those may be true, right? Maybe someone doesn't support you all the way. Maybe they don't want to see you succeed. Maybe they're negative. So some of those can be true. And yes, there are people who criticize everything that you do. There are people who can always find a reason why something will not work. Right? And there are some people who are uncomfortable when they see someone moving forward. I don't know if you run into any of those people, but I certainly have in my years here on this earth. I've certainly run into some people who, number one, who support me 100%. And then I ran into some people who they talk a good game, say that they support me, say that they want to see me succeed, but become very uncomfortable when success starts to take place. Maybe you have some of those individuals in your life. I don't know. But sometimes what I do know is that the person who sometimes disagree with you is not always against you. I'll say that again. Sometimes the person that disagrees with you is not always against you. Sometimes they may see something that you do not see. Or sometimes they're asking a question that you might not have considered. Because sometimes we have blinders on, right? We're not looking to the left or to the right. We're looking straight ahead and we have those blinders on. Think about the horses. I see some horses when they're racing. The trainers put blinders on the horses because they want them to run straight ahead. They don't want them to look to the left nor to the right. And sometimes we're like that. We're running so hard that we have the blinders on and we're not focused on what's to the left of us or what's to the right of us. And we haven't considered certain things. So sometimes that person that is with us, that supports us, that's challenging us, sometimes they look at some areas that we haven't even looked at. And sometimes they're trying to protect us from moving too quickly. Sometimes they're saying to slow down, right? Don't jump right in. Have you considered this? Have you looked at things in this way? Have you thought about this? Which is all good. We need those individuals in our life. We don't always need yes people. So sometimes they're helping us to think about the long-term impact of a short-term decision. I am happy and excited to have that type of individual in my life. I don't know if you have those, but I'm excited to have those types of individuals in my life. So in reality, what we think is opposition, what we think is negativity, is not always negativity, is not always opposition. Sometimes it shows up as support. See, real support does not always sound like that is a great idea. Sometimes it sounds like, have you thought this through? Have you looked at this angle? Have you considered this? And sometimes it may sound like, do you really have the capacity to take on that right now? That's me, right? Because sometimes I'm running so hard. I have sometimes all these big dreams and goals. And I put it forth to my wife. And one of the questions that she asked me, Patrick, do you have the capacity to take on that right now? And I'm so thankful and grateful because I may be running so hard and I'm thinking, I can get this done. But by her asking me, do you have the capacity to take that on right now, makes me take a step back and says, that's an excellent point. I may not have the capacity at this point. So I'm going to table that, or I'm going to remove something else in order to move on this. So it's not so much in terms of negativity. It's not so much in terms of not liking your idea and thought. It's asking the right types of questions. That person may be asking the right types of questions. See, sometimes it may sound like you keep saying this is a priority, but I don't see it reflected in how you're spending your time. See, we may take something as a priority. We may have a goal. We may have an objective and we write it down. We have the strategy, we have the action steps, but do we have the funnel, the activity to support that goal? So we may have the goal this month, and you know I'm huge on goal setting. We talk a lot about goal setting at the beginning of the month, and we'll continue to talk about that. We may have the goal. We may have the strategy of going forward to accomplish that goal. And we may have the action steps. But what happens is we may not have the activity. The activity and the action that we're taking may not be reflecting on how we spend the time to accomplish that goal. So we have the goal, we have the strategy, but we're missing the action steps. So it takes someone to ask that type of question and says, honestly, do you think you have the, and sometimes some people ask me that, or I generally ask those that I'm coaching, I generally ask that question for them to think about. Do you think you have the action steps to support your goal? Do you have the activity to support where you're going? And sometimes it may sound like this. Understand what you're trying to do. I truly understand it. I get it. But here's the thing. I think there may be another way of approaching that. Or you may want to spin it around and say, I understand, or I can appreciate where you're going. I can appreciate what you're trying to accomplish. But let me ask you this question. Is there another way that you can approach this? As opposed to saying, I think there's another way, you can ask the question. Is there another way that you would consider or that you can think of to approach what you're trying to accomplish? Now, that's the difference between a training question and a coaching question. A training question may be, Here's another way. A coaching question would be, is there another way that you think that you can approach it? Is there another way that you think that you can approach it to get to where you want to get to? Training versus coaching. You tell, train, you ask, you coach. And that may not be what we want to hear. That may not be what the person that you're coaching want to hear. Right? Or that may not be another way that you are being asked by the person that has a valued interest in what you're doing. But it may be exactly what we need to hear. Here's the thing. Think about this, especially from a leadership standpoint. Think about this. If you are a leader, if you are leading a team, however small or large, I want you to think about this. Think about a time where you were excited about a new initiative, an idea that you have been thinking about for a very long time, something that you had in mind, and you're so excited about this thought. You believe that it's going to help the team. You believe that it's going to help the organization, and you bring it. You're so excited that you bring the idea into one of your leadership meetings, whether you bring the idea to your manager, to your leader, or you're bringing it to your team. But you are so excited about it. And you're saying, this is great. Everyone is going to be on board. I know this is going to solve some of the problems. This is going to close some of our gaps. And this is going to help us to accomplish where we want to get to. And you bring it into the meeting. And you're thinking, you're saying, I know they're on board. They're going to be excited just as I am. But the question comes up, are they? Maybe they're not. Maybe they're not seeing what you see. Or maybe they've learned that questioning you does not go well. So they're excited, a fake excitement, being passive aggressive. Maybe the last person they've learned from is that the last person who raised a concern, the last time that you were excited about something, and the last person that raised a concern about your excited idea or initiative was shut down. Maybe every question is you interpret it as resistance. Maybe people have learned that the safest thing to do when you bring the idea and you're excited about it is to agree with you in the meeting, but talk about their concerns behind your back. Have that ever happened to you? See, that is not healthy community. It's not healthy leadership. Because when people do not feel safe enough to challenge an idea, the leader may leave the room thinking that everyone is excited, everyone is on board, everyone is in agreement. But without the benefit of the team's real thinking, without them feeling and giving their input, because you have set the atmosphere, you've given them permission to challenge you. But if they don't feel that they can do it, they will leave the meeting and it may cost you. See, sometimes we may have people around us who sees risk in the things that we do or the things that we say. Things that we cannot see. They may understand how the decision will affect the day-to-day operations. They may even recognize that there's a communication gap, that there's a gap, something is not right. They may even know that the timing is not right. So they may have these ideas and thoughts. But if they do not believe they have the permission to speak, you lose access to their perspective. And what a shame that will be, because you have not given them permission to speak. Our question tonight is, who has permission to challenge you? See, sometimes as leaders, as individuals, we want to be surrounded with yes people. But is that doing us any good? Is that helping us to grow? Is that helping the individuals to grow? We don't want to be surrounded with yes people. So one of those questions that you have to ask yourself is, it's not as simple as we think, but it's necessary that we should ask ourselves. Do I have smart people around me? Do I have all yes people, or do I have people that will challenge me? See, it is, have I created an environment where smart people can disagree with me and be okay? As leaders, see, and I talked about this, I think, last week. The higher we go, the higher you go as a leader, the quieter people may become. This becomes especially important as you go with your leadership journey, as your leadership, your influence, or as your responsibility grows. The higher we go, the higher you go, the more careful people become about what they say to you. Not necessarily because you ask them to be careful, but because of your title, because of your authority, because of your experience, because of your influence, because they assume you already have all the answers, or because they do not know how you will respond. If they see something differently, and if they say it, how will you respond? So the question is, tonight, folks, as I leave you, the real question tonight: who has permission to challenge you? That's the number one question that I want you to ponder and consider. Who has permission to challenge you? And then the second, this is the real question: do people around you, do you have people around you are they approachable? Or do they see you as approachable? That's the better question. The people that you have around you, do they see you as approachable? Or do they see you as the know-it-all? Don't want to know, don't want to hear. So as we end tonight, my challenge to you is to build a community, build a team of individuals who are willing to pour into you, who are willing to ask or give information, ask you the challenging questions without feeling that they'll be reprimanded. So I'll leave you with the question that we asked earlier. Who has permission to challenge you? Are you open, and have you set the atmosphere where individuals feel safe to challenge you, where they feel safe to ask questions or give input. If the answer is no, my suggestion, my recommendation is that you really take a step back and create that atmosphere which allows individuals to ask questions, to give ideas, give suggestions, give recommendations. Because folks, we don't know it all. But we have individuals. We should surround ourselves with individuals who are willing, they're smart enough, maybe smarter than us, and they're willing to share what they know with you. That is my challenge to you. Because if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So surround yourself with individuals that may be smarter, may know more than you, and you set the atmosphere where they're willing to share information with you, to give ideas, to give suggestions, to give recommendations. That's what leadership is about. That's what community is about. And that's what we at the Jackman Group, when we talk about impact leaders connect community, that's what we are talking about. Building a community of leaders, entrepreneurs, professionals, emerging leaders. Building a community of individuals who are willing to help each other. And that's what Impact Leaders Connect community is all about. So I invite you to join us. The link is in the description. So if you're curious, if you want to learn more about Impact Leaders Connect community, click on the link, go to our page, and you will find everything there. We started this on last week. We just launched it. We have 3 tiers. 3 tiers of community membership. Starting at your beginning investment is as low as $4.97 per month. So we invite you to go, click on the link, and join us so that we can continue building a community of leaders, entrepreneurs, professionals, emerging leaders, but individuals who care about each other, who want to encourage each other, who want to learn together. See, I don't know it all, or team members don't know it all. You have information that you can share with us. We have information that we can share with you, and we can build a community, not a network, but a community together. A community that grows together. So if that's you, we would happy to have you as part of the community. Join us as we make this journey together. Until next week, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. If you're watching this live, thank you. If you're watching this in replay, thank you so very much. Make sure that you like and share this episode. If you're watching from YouTube, subscribe to our channel. We appreciate it. May God bless you. We'll see you on next week. See you then.